The SEAL snipers from Red Squadron, Richard Kaiser, John Gay, Howard Wasden, and Homer Nearpass, weren't exactly embraced by their Delta counterparts. They weren't exactly shunned, but the tension in the air was irrefutable, as was the general feeling among the Delta operators that the presence of the SEALs added no particular value to the operation. This was a bitter rivalry born with SEAL Team 6's very inception. While initially sold as a maritime complement to Delta Force, one that could, for example, rescue hostages aboard hijacked cruise ships, that would serve to round out the nation's total CT solution, it was never truly envisioned as such. Founding Commanding Officer Richard Marcinko joked, or perhaps more accurately opined, that a mud puddle or a canteen in the general vicinity was enough to justify SEAL Team 6's right to an operation. Operators from both units presumed their superiority in their shared core competency of precision direct action, and thus considered their respective unit the more deserving when any potential high-profile operations surfaced or landed. Delta Force and DevGru represented two apex predators, claiming domain over a hunting ground barely large enough to feed one. Unfortunately, the units have been politically pitted against each other. They compete for the same missions, said former DevGru sniper Craig Sawyer, who experienced this frustration firsthand. It's unfortunate because both units are filled with heroes, highly capable men with red, white, and blue in their eyes, brave as they come, capable as they come, mean as they come, dedicated as they come, but they hated each other because they were pitted against each other. The lack of delineation largely worked in opposition to Marcinko's grander scheme. While Delta Force may have been continually stymied by operations rehearsed for but never executed, ST-6 was discouraged to an even greater degree. The relatively rare missions that did come around were generally snared by the Army unit, while SEAL Team 6 found itself pushed aside again and again. According to those on the losing end, this wasn't down to any assessment that Delta was the more capable unit. Both had their champions and detractors, but rather a question of parentage. JSOC, which has operational control of both units, was dominated by Army generals throughout the first 2 decades of its existence. In fact, its first 10 commanders came from the Army, including multiple officers who had served inside Delta Force. I see them like 2 boys on a Little League baseball team who could pitch, Sawyer explained, but one of their daddies is the coach. So who do you think is going to get to pitch come game day? It's a horrible situation. It didn't matter which unit was appropriate for the job, it just mattered whose daddy ran JSOC at the time. The politics cause the units to resent each other, but it's not their fault. That's the situation that they're in. If you took the guys and just let them hang out together, they'd probably get along like brothers. On one occasion, DevGru even suffered the indignity of having its OTB, over-the-beach gear, commandeered by Delta Force to conduct a clear maritime op. At times, the situation seemed so dire that some experienced SEAL Team 6 operators, including Sawyer and Howard Wasden, actually considered leaving the Navy to take a shot at joining the unit. Sawyer said, "When I was at DevGru, we kept training, developing solutions and equipment, and staging for certain operations, and then losing them. They would get handed to Delta. I realized, okay, the politics are stacked in their favor. Their dad is the coach." Still exasperated by the experience, the former SEAL Team 6 sniper continued, "I went to the Navy because SEAL Team were the baddest motherfuckers on the face of the planet. That's what I had read, and that's what I was told. So I went to SEAL Team. Once I got in there, I started learning about SEAL Team 6, and that's like the all-star team. If you really want to operate and to roll the dice and volunteer for something even riskier, more hardcore, but get a lot of sophisticated support and opportunity, then you go to that league there." I was like, that's me, that's where I'm going. Once I saw that one unit was going to get most of the work and the other unit was going to get kicked to the side for political reasons, well, shoot, I'm going to go to the unit that is getting work, period. I don't care what you call it. I wasn't after a career in the military. I wasn't after a collar device. I wasn't after all the chest candy they loaded me down with.